Hi everyone, welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast. So today is part 3, the last part of my 30 lessons in 30 days, which I did for my 30th back in June. So today we'll talk through kind of lessons 21 to 30 and bring it to a close. So number 21 is customer retention. So probably one of the biggest things you can do is keep clients coming back. So probably all previous 20 lessons all kind of lead to this point of making sure that if a client comes to you, you keep hold of them. So once they've done that first deal, making sure that they come back to you for deal number 2, deal number 3, deal number 4. I mean, we've got clients who have been with us for probably 5-6 deals now. In fact, actually, I think one's come back for their 7th deal now. So we're relatively good at retaining clients. And I think where we work effectively is we've kind of got a suite of products where a first-time developer can come to us, they can get development finance, they can then go on to a development exit, or they can go on to a refinance, or if someone's looking to buy land without planning, they can come to us with maybe a bridge, or even if they want us to kind of come in and help with the negotiation side of things, but we can be there for that first stage. They then refinance to development finance, again, with their stage 2. They then maybe want to refinance or dev exit, again, with their stage 3. So we can kind of be there at every stage of that deal. And I think that's what brings clients back to us again, because then when they're dealing with their second deal, they look at it and they go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, Michael helped with the 3 stages of the last deal, let's go back again. Where I think we also have a good customer retention is because we deal with first-time developers, our entire business is sort of built on helping people get on that first step of the ladder. And I think a lot of it comes down to loyalty then, is people see that as, oh, okay, well, he's helped me to get here, I'm going to go back to him again. So yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, customer retention, one of the biggest things you can do. Lesson number 22 was marketing strategies. So we have a pretty big volume of marketing strategies. And I think the thing is you have to constantly evolve that as well. So we have the podcast, we have our social media campaigns, we have YouTube, we've got networking events. We've obviously run our own events in the past. We've got the YouTube channel with the Academy on as well. So we've got lots of different marketing strategies. And I think that's where people can fall short sometimes, is that they see something like TikTok, for example, and they go, oh, I don't want to be on TikTok because TikTok's for young people. I don't want to advertise on there. But actually what people don't realize is that despite the fact that on the face of it, something like TikTok looks very youthful and that there are a lot of young people on there, there's also a lot of sort of, older is probably the wrong word to use, but there are people who are above a younger age. But what I find with that is we've actually pulled a few clients from TikTok, weirdly, which always feels like a bit of a weird sentence to say, but we've pulled clients from TikTok who are probably in their mid-40s, early 50s, and they're not people that you would ever think that would have been on TikTok or anything like that. So, and in fact, actually, we're dealing with a client at the moment who the GDV on their site is about 11, 12 million, and he sits on TikTok in the office swiping TikTok, and it's a bizarre one. But when it comes to marketing strategies, I think be open to all possibilities, and that's something I think that we've done relatively well. Is we've allowed ourselves to be open to all marketing strategies, and that really has enabled us to build the business. Lesson 23 is measuring performance. So this is something, again, that I'm not the best at because I've kind of left it to other people, and sometimes I haven't been massively clear on the numbers that I want. I haven't been massively clear on the information that I want back. With the accountant, for example, I've never been massively pushy at, can I have my management accounts on a monthly basis, etc. I've kind of as and when they've appeared. And I think the difficulty you have there is if you don't measure performance, you are essentially flailing around blindly in the dark, because measuring performance gives you metrics that you can then make business decisions on. And that's why I've really, really made a conscious effort over the last 18 months to get really, really good at knowing every single metric within my business. How many new clients have come into the business? How many have dropped off? How many have dropped off at each individual stage? Where is everything in the pipeline? How much cash have we had in that month? Where has the cash gone? On what things has the cash gone? On what percentage of money are we spending on marketing? What percentage of our money are we spending on HR? What percentage are we spending on compliance? All of these different things. And it's understanding all of those metrics to then go, right, okay, I understand the business fully. I understand where everything is going. Now I'm going to make a decision on the business based on money going to X, Y, Z. And it allows you to manage those growth plans as well. So definitely something I would recommend. And getting monthly management accounts from your accountant is an absolute must. Anyone who doesn't get those, again, I think you're realistically flailing around in the dark. Lesson number 24 is crisis management. So obviously everyone has a crisis plan for their business. And if you don't, you should seriously consider setting one up. As part of kind of what we do as a finance brokerage, we have to have crisis management plans. We have to have a plan. If everything goes wrong, what do we do? If we have a data breach, what do we do? If all of the staff disappear, what do we do? If all of the clients disappear, what do we do? And for me, I've kind of got, if you imagine these 3 separate boxes, and each box has a plan. And if something ever goes wrong, I know, right, okay, if I go to that one, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. If all the staff disappear, right, okay, well, I know that in the short term, I can take on most of the work, but I also know that I can go to XYZ and get staff quickly, or I can go to VAs, or I can do all manner of different things. So crisis management is a major one. And I actually think that from a crisis management perspective, what it does is it allows you to sleep easy at night. It allows you to go to bed knowing, right, okay, if I wake up in the morning and any one of these things has happened, I know what I need to do with my day to get through it. And it's quite fun. I was listening to Stephen Bartlett's book, Happy Sexy Millionaire, I think it's called. And he was talking about how they had a major data breach. He was on his way to do a sort of day out with his staff. Major data breach. All of a sudden, they're all back in the office and they've got a plan. And he didn't necessarily have that plan in place, but in the back of his mind, he knew what would need to happen if anything had happened. And I took quite a lot of inspiration from that in terms of setting up my own kind of crisis management plan. So I'd highly recommend listening to the book, and I would also highly recommend setting up your management plan if anything goes wrong as well. Lesson number 25 is sustainability. So this is talking around keeping the business going. So for us, sustainability is, we are a business that operates on peaks and troughs. And we know that. We know that there are incredible highs and we know that there are incredible lows. We may go, if everything goes wrong and solicitors aren't responding to things, valuers aren't coming back, QSs aren't coming back, we may go 3 months without a fee coming in. But we may also go 6 months with 6 record months in a row. It really can be that difficult to predict. For us, sustainability is all around, if we do have that 3-month low patch, what do we do? Have we got an ability to bring in a monthly recurring revenue? And that's key, I think, to any business, is having that recurring revenue coming in every single month that you know is guaranteed, or if it's not guaranteed, you know is pretty certainly going to come in. And it's having that come in and know, right, okay, every month I've got £1,000 or £10,000 or whatever coming in. I know that it's sustainable based on that. I know that my overheads at the minute sit at around £12,000 a month. If I can get £12,000 a month in, I know that the business is sustainable, even if we don't complete a single deal in the brokerage. So for me, that's been a massive lesson to learn, because we have gone some really, really difficult periods. And I'm very, very lucky that the 4 of us that are here, I've got 3 incredible people around me who will literally support the business until the day they die. I mean, they are in it for the long haul. And we have had months where we've not been able to pay salaries on time, and they've been there. They've been happy to take that hit because they know in the long term the business is going to be okay. And it's been that lesson of, right, I've got these incredible people around me, but let's not take the piss. Let's not make this a regular occurrence. Let's find a way of making the business sustainable so that never has to happen again. So big one for me, and I would highly recommend getting some sort of monthly cash flow coming in from somewhere else that isn't your main business, just to keep you a bit safer moving forward. Lesson number 26 is negotiation skills, something which I think is probably my biggest skill. I think I can pretty much negotiate anything these days. I've become very good at negotiation, whether it be with lenders, getting better terms, whether it be between vendors and purchasers, coming up with creative deals. We've got pretty involved in all negotiations. So I would say, if you're in property in any way, your negotiation skills are your biggest skill. You are going to make, on property purchases, probably most of your money on the purchase, so you need to be a good negotiator there. If you're in brokering, you're going to obviously make most of your money by being able to negotiate the highest possible loan for your client, because obviously you're paid a percentage of that loan. So the more money you can get for your client, the more you're going to be paid. So obviously your negotiation needs to be strong there. Obviously that negotiation as well around interest rates and fees and everything else, and bringing those as low as possible between the client and the lender is obviously key as well. So without a shadow of a doubt, negotiation skills, one of the biggest things. I would spend time listening to audiobooks. I would spend time listening to podcasts. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street if you want to see good sales technique or bad sales technique, depending on how you watch the film. But I would say negotiation skills, put as much time as humanly possible into them, because they are key and they have got me to where I am. Lesson number 27 is employee engagement. I've kind of already touched on this, so I won't spend too much time on this one, but to try and keep our employees as engaged as possible, whether it be by offering shares or obviously decent salaries, that kind of thing. And it's all about creating a environment where they're happy to be there, they want to be there, they want to see the growth of the company. There are far too many businesses where the employees just don't want to be there, they're not happy, they're not engaged, they don't want to help grow the business. So kind of touched on it a lot already through the previous lessons, but keeping your employees engaged, without a shadow of a doubt, massive, massive thing. Lesson 28, scalability. As a commercial finance brokerage, we are always going to struggle to scale the business too large. It's just, there's always going to be a ceiling. You're never going to be a 300, 400 employee business. It's just that there's not that much business out there to kind of be that size, and the competition is so much that you're kind of limited to a certain level of where you can get to. So scalability is always a bit of a tough one, but the lesson that I have learned is that actually spending that time, money, etc., getting the business to its sort of peak point is actually the best way of scaling, because once you get it to the peak point of outgoings and everything else, you can then scale in terms of bringing clients in and getting everyone up to their capacity. So we kind of scale in a slightly different way. 29, all about customer experience. Again, kind of touched on this a fair bit, but make that client experience as good as possible, because whether you're a sourcer, property investor, property developer, whether you're selling houses, whether you're sourcing houses, whatever it may be, making sure that experience is as good as possible is always going to bring people back, helps your retention, just keeps the business flowing as it should do. And then finally, lesson number 30 is reflect and improve. This 30 days has been my reflection and my improvement. I've used this 30 days to reflect on everything. I've used it as a way of looking at every single element of the business, and I would highly recommend that people do the same, not necessarily 30 days, but spend some time going through a similar process that I did. Write down everything, write down where you can improve, but do it as a thing of, this is how I think other people can improve. Because what you find is actually, in trying to educate other people in how they can improve, you find more ways for yourself to improve. So this has been a massive reflection process for me, and I've really enjoyed it, to be fair. It's been a lot of fun, and there's been a lot of engagement with it, and people seem to have enjoyed it. And I always set out to, if one person benefited from it, then great. But actually what I didn't realize was the one person that was going to benefit from it was actually going to be me. And that's been massively powerful for me. So yeah, reflect, improve, always a massive thing that you want to do. And yeah, whether it be 30 things in 30 days or 10 things in 10 days or 5 things in 5, whatever, do that reflection, take the lessons from it, because there's no point reflecting and then doing nothing with it. You've got to reflect, and then you've got to take those points, and you've got to improve the business and yourself from it. So yeah, for me, this has been a massively great exercise. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to the previous 3 parts and for listening to these 30 things in 30 days. And most importantly, thank you for being around for the last 8 years to make these 30 things possible. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have as well. Thank you very much for listening. Catch you on the next one.